Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cleveland Browns Stadium on the shores of Lake Erie. It is a spectacular morning for one of the greatest rivalries in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers with an awful lot at stake here this afternoon. Brendan Gulick and Anthony Moeglin with you, looking forward to what we think is going to be a really good game. Two offenses that might be looking for their footing a little bit. Two defenses that certainly are not, especially on the Browns side. Anthony, what are you most excited to see when you watch these two teams take the field here?
Yeah, I'm really most excited for, and you just hinted at it, I'm most excited to see this defense really get to work. It feels, in my opinion, all year long, they've been waiting on the offense. Hey, we're going to deliver you to this point. But now that you kind of know what the situation is on offense, I'm really excited to see what Jim Schwartz had said this week, how these guys respond, what they come out and do, because in my opinion, they're going to come out firing and really with one goal in mind, and that's to shut the Pittsburgh Steelers out. And I think they have a really good opportunity to do so.
I think the Browns are taking a lot of pride in the fact that they know they're going to have to lean on their defense to carry them, while also expressing a lot of optimism here the last 5-6 days now in Dorian Thompson-Robinson. It's been a tumultuous week for the Browns in the sense that they had an incredible comeback win last week and felt like they were really starting to hit their stride, and then all of a sudden, obviously, Deshaun Watson is lost for the rest of the season, and that just flat out stinks, right? But life in the NFL, man, you got to move on. The next guy up this time is DTR instead of PJ Walker. And I think Cleveland feels like DTR is ready for this opportunity, or else they wouldn't give it to him in a game of this magnitude. What is your confidence level coming into a game like this with DTR getting his second career start?
Yeah, no, I love the decision to go with DTR because you have to figure out what you have. And like PJ Walker was able to get 2 wins for the Browns, and we talked about it a bunch. It's like you love and you appreciate what PJ did, but the truth of the matter is he wasn't playing good football, and they were kind of some fluky wins. So giving DTR a chance where it's like, okay, we're starting, we announced this on Wednesday, Deshaun's out. We're announcing right after it that you're the starter, and you get a full week of prep, and the whole team gets a full week of prep with you as the quarterback. So I'm really excited about it. And honestly, this game, in my opinion, is going to feel a lot like how the Arizona game felt, where it was, hey, if it's 3rd and long, they're going to hand the ball off. If the Browns are in any type of situation where it could get a little risky, they're going to take the safe route because your defense is so good, and you don't need DTR to be Tom Brady today. You don't need him to be Deshaun Watson. You just need him to, if he doesn't turn the ball over, the Browns could win this game by 2 scores. So it's like, hey, my confidence level is sky high because his responsibility today isn't to throw for 400 yards. It's to keep the ball in the Browns' possession and just keep the game going forward and just distribute it when needed and just don't turn that thing over. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that I think PJ Walker did worst was turn the football over, because when he performed well, it was fine. It was workable. The turnovers were really the thing that was frustrating with him. Now, I can certainly understand where some folks might say, hey, look, I'd rather go into this game with a quarterback who's played significant snaps this year than one who hasn't. I hear that argument. I think the Browns need to see what they have in DTR, and a 1-game sample size, for a guy that was told a couple hours, if that, before the game started that he was going to be the starting quarterback. I don't know that that's enough of a sample size. And I know the fan base right now, in some ways, is expressing some pessimism because that's what they saw. That is their sample size, right? In regular season play, DTR wasn't great in his first spot start against Baltimore. But I have to think that Kevin Stefanski, in my opinion, has built up enough credibility that you got to have some faith here that this is supposed to work. And that may or may not result in a win, but I do not expect DTR to look lost today. I think he's going to be fine.
No, and it's going to be a lot on Kevin and AVP to call a really good game, and I think they will. And let's look back the last 2 or 3 weeks, man. This running game that the Browns have has taken leaps and bounds, and been it's not the number 2 rushing attack in all of the NFL. And, if you think about it from the Steelers' perspective, it's like, hey, we're going to shut the run down. Well, that's exactly what, the last 2 weeks have been, especially think back to last week against the Ravens with Deshaun struggling. The Ravens started to really crowd that box. We looked at it and it was like, hey, the Browns were still able to run the football, and they're going to be able to do the same today. So I'm really excited about what Kevin and Van Pelt have dialed up. because it's going to be a safe game plan, but they always have their little wrinkles and their little tricks that they'll mix in there. So that's what I'm most looking forward to, is to see how those two attack the game and put the offense in advantageous situations all day.
And, of course, the last thing we'll touch on is the fact that maybe the two best defensive players in the NFL are on the field today in Myles Garrett and in T.J. Watt. And even though they don't play against each other, there's always the comparison of how did one play and how did the other play. For whatever reason, T.J. Watt has played really, really well against Cleveland historically. Myles Garrett's played fine against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but maybe not his best football. I think Myles is going to show up today pretty motivated. I don't know if that means he's going to outplay T.J. Watt, but I expect him to come out and look like Myles Garrett. I think there is a little bit of concern going up against an elite pass rusher like T.J. Watt with the Browns' situation right now at offensive tackle. It's still not even close to being 100% with no Wills and no Conklin. DeJuan Jones is questionable. I'm optimistic that he's going to play after seeing him this week, but he is still officially listed as questionable. And Kevin Stefanski told us Jaron Christian is going to start at left tackle, which makes me wonder a little bit more about DeJuan Jones' status, because if that's the case and DeJuan does play, that would mean that James Hudson is not going to be a starting tackle and that Jaron Christian has, leapfrogged him. Kevin certainly, reserves the right to change his mind. That's plenty possible too, but I did think that was an interesting comment this week.
Yeah, no question. And let's scenario one is that DeJuan plays. Let's say he is listed as questionable, but let's say he plays. He actually, in week 2, that was his first career start, and it was against TJ Watt, and he actually held his own. TJ only had 1 sack. Yeah. Obviously, he had the fumble recovery for a touchdown, but DeJuan actually did hold his own and actually looked pretty good. And on the flip side, Christensen actually was the starting tackle for the Texans in week 3 when the Texans blew out the Steelers. So that has shown some success there and actually has seen this team before. Both of these guys have, if DeJuan Jones does play. So that does make me feel better. But the story is the same. You could have Joe Thomas out there, but TJ Watt is good enough to wreck games. He's one of the best players in all of football, and you just cannot afford to let him do that because – I wrote about it this morning, but it's today the goal for the offense is no turnovers, not win the turnover battle, but it's no turnovers because this Steelers team is known for the turnovers. They don't just jump on the fumble or go down after an interception. They take it to the house and they try to make it 7 points. So it's really critical to not allow TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith to make their impact on the game, which they've done in the past.
Can't wait for this one. It's going to be a ton of fun, man. The Browns have an awful lot at stake. A win today, you're 7-3. You split with Baltimore. You split with Pittsburgh. And you're in great shape moving forward. Plus the momentum that would come with winning a game with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. In fact, it would be a win with a third different starting quarterback this year for Cleveland, riding what right now looks like the best defense in the NFL, bar none. Boy, that's a pretty fun thought. We'll see if the Browns can get it done. We've got you covered the whole way today. BrownsDigest.com. Certainly here on our YouTube channel as well. We'll have post-game press conferences for you as soon as those wrap up. And we'll be right back here post-game with our post-game thoughts talking about this one as well. So hope you'll join us for that. For Anthony Moeglin, I'm Brendan Gulick, reporting live from Cleveland Browns Stadium on a perfect Sunday afternoon here on Browns Digest.